What's up, guys? You are welcome to Dynamicom TV, where we publish news on politics, entertainment, celebrities, and metro stories. We have another trending news for you today, and the headline here is Hate Speech. Senate receives court judgment criminalizing hate speech bill. Alright, guys, please, before I go ahead to read today's news to you, if this is your first time you are watching on our channel, please, there is a red subscribe button below this video. Just go ahead, hit that red subscribe button and then click on the bell icon beside it so as to be the first to be notified whenever we publish news in the future on this channel, Dynamicom TV, without you missing any news again. Now the news in details. Efforts to sell the hate speech bill to Nigerians suffer a setback as an activist delivered a court judgment to President of Senate, Ahmed Lawal, to guide the Senate from the further attempt to gap free speech in Nigeria. The letter dated November 28, 2019, draw the attention of the Senate to the judgment of the Community Court of Justice of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, forbidding Nigeria's government from criminalizing free speech in whatever goes. The letter was delivered by Mackin Chambers and Associates and reads in part, "We hereby inform you that the exercise in pursuing this hate speech establishment bill 2019 is one in futility, and therefore the taxpayers' money should not be plunged into it. In view of the judgment of the ECOWAS Court, which has been termed by the global community as landmark judgment, a tribunal for the global freedom of expression. The judgment was the accumulation of the attribution in a case instituted by Festus Onwuche and Ano via the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The certified true copy of the judgment cited by Tribunal Online reads in part, that on Tuesday, the 11th day of December 2018, in suit number ECW/CCJ/APP/10/15, judgment number ECW/CCJ/JUD/31/18, quench and forbid the Federal Republic of Nigeria from criminalizing free speech in whatever form, color, or clothing, and barred her from free speech or press consulship enshrined and grantee under Article SIS of the African Chapter on Human and People's Rights and the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance." The judgment stated that all these are covenants from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to which Nigerians enjoy its full declaration. The letter further stated that the hate speech bill runs contrary to Section 22 and 39 of the Nigerian Constitution and other international conventions to which Nigeria is a signatory. According to the letter, the hate speech establishment bill 2019 is contrary to Section 22 and 39 of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended, which guarantees freedom of expression. It needs no saying that any law or act that is or are contrary to the ground norm of the Constitution is null and void. The National Assembly, under the leadership of our distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawal, having chosen this ignoble road of willful suggesting and making our Nigeria a laughingstock in the Committee of Nations, beats our imaginations. There is the availability of sufficient laws on offensive spoken words and actions with great and effectual remedies in our laws. It's wrongful to attempt criminalizing freedom of expression for the traumatized citizens of Nigerians. It is absurd for Nigerians in the Committee of Nations on Earth to be heard singing these ignoble songs rather than creating the conducive environment for freedom of speech and enterprises for her rapidly growing populations. In view of this judgment, the National Assembly of Nigeria is therefore acting contrary to the core terms of the judgment in terms of the citizens' right. It protects to embark on the facilitation of the Hate Speech Establishment Bill 2019. This judgment clearly forbids the Federal Republic of Nigeria sued in this case as the defendant from further violating Nigerian citizens' right to freedom of speech, being a matter that was initiated within the public interest advocacy mechanism. It will not be seen that Nigeria as an entity would have her legislators act in defense of her international obligations freely entered into and in the face of a valid subsiding court judgment. Freedom of speech being an entrenched fundamental human right provided for in the Nigerian Constitution, and this right is fully preserved by the judgment of the Regional Court aforesaid. It is completely out of the way for the Nigerian legislature to attempt to facilitate the enactment of any law that flagrants the right protected by the said judgment of the Regional Court. Speaking further on the matter, Barrister Daniel Makalu said the silence of the Attorney General of the Federation was misleading to the National Assembly in the face of the aforementioned judgment of the Regional Court. He urged Lawal to show the way of global best practice in line with international obligation entered into freely by Nigeria in hitting immediately the inaugural debate, inclusive of all processing on the Hate Speech Establishment Bill 2019 in the public and national security interests of Nigeria, her friends in the international communities, and her noble citizens. Alright guys, this is the problem that is instituting in the National Assembly over the laws concerning hate speech, which the National Assembly is passing at this moment. The government of President Muhammadu Buhari and the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, is gapping out the Constitution concerning hate speech, which both the individuals and the private sectors and even the shareholders, lawyers in Nigeria are not happy concerning the bill which the Senate is about to pass concerning the Hate Speech Establishment Bill 2019. Many people are speaking against this hate speech bill, which the Senate is hearing and about to pass into law. Guys, this is a very atrocious act in the Nigerian Senate, and many people are reacting over these judgments, and some of the judges and the lawyers are calling it a criminalizing hate speech bill, which are not supposed to be concerning some of the bills and the signings of the Nigerian laws, both in the international and the local. It is in your own opinion to share your view over what you think concerning this hate speech bill, which the Senate is trying to pass into law. We will read some of the comments herein, and also we urge you to step in what you think and drop your comment. We are reading this one coming from Father George. Father George said, a national embarrassment. This is a national embarrassment. How come this bill ever had in National Assembly? Does anyone need to be told that this bill is an exercise in futility, lawless and completely nullity? That the sponsors or supporters in whatsoever goods these are not supposed to be. It is contrary to our section 22 and 39 of Nigerian Constitution, and these people in the Senate seems not to be educated at all. Why should this kind of bill or this kind of atrocious bill be hearing in our National Assembly, and other international declarations are now hearing such a stupid and fatal stories from our National Assembly? What would people call Nigerian National Assembly today for this kind of hearing and this kind of stories coming from National Assembly? This another comment coming from Mr. Uchechukwu Onyedika. He said, if they succeed in signing this bill, that means they have actualized their plans of returning Buhari for third terms, as they are commenting. They want to silence all criticism before the time, but God will not allow that. Evil people in the office of the government of Nigeria. No wonder Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is calling the government of Nigeria zoo. Imagine our able Senate President allowing such bill to be heard in the National Assembly instead of immediately nullify it out. This is another comment coming from Ahmed. Ahmed Olusengu said, the Senate President Ahmed Lawal is a rubber stamp president. We miss Sariki, our man. Do you know that a weak National Assembly is a weak nation? This is why many people want to go out of Nigeria, because the nation, as I see it now, is a weak nation. I am a Yoruba man. We don't support this. This is why most of the Yorubas are supporting the Igbos, the Biafrans, and the so-called Nnamdi Kanu. Strong opposing senators are being fought out and not to be returned into the Senate, just because they speak the truth, so that the Ahmed Lawal and late weak Senate will continue enacting laws in favor of Buhari. These laws is showing us that Buhari is attempting to come to third term in the office. A Senate without Dino, a Senate without Ben Bruce, a Senate without Sani and Sadiki will certainly be a failed Senate. Lawal has no international understanding over what the hate speech is all about. Alright guys, we have to read one of the comments, and we expect you to drop your comments. There are a lot of comments here. This is coming from Muhammad Ahmed said, this is all about hallmark of Muhammadu Buhari governance style. Remember degree 2 and 4 of 1984. The senators awarded with office by the president are simply pushing his usual decorum laws that will embark him back to the office in the third term. I lamented the country called Nigeria. Can you see why the Igbos are trying to build their own nation called Biafra? Nobody should blame these people. Nobody should blame the Igbos. This is nonsense in Nigeria. How can you tell people not to speak their mind? And we said we are in democracy. This is nonsense democracy. Buhari is a rubber stamp and they are calling him Jubri. No wonder the Igbos are sincerely trying to depart out of Nigeria. This is coming from another comment. The last one is coming from James Akikbo. James Akikbo said, the National Assembly, under the leadership of our distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawal, have chosen this ignoble road of willful subjecting and making our Nigeria a laughable stock in the community of nations, be it all over our imaginations. Nobody can believe such a bill will even stand in the Senate, not to talk of hearing it out. Buhari promised Nigeria to fight corruption. In line with that, why can't Senator Lawal sponsor a bill for death sentence on corrupt and looters of our commonwealth? You are what you are because of your choice. All right, guys, we thank you for listening, and we urge you to drop your comment in this article. And please, before you go, do not forget to hit the red subscribe button below this video and then click on the bell icon beside it, so as to be the first to be notified whenever we publish news on this channel, Dynamicom TV, without you missing any news again. Thank you and welcome.